Progressive darling Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is turning some heads in her latest Instagram Live video. The New York Congresswoman boldly claiming millennials and Generation Z are, quote, more informed and are, quote, willing to go to the streets and protest and are more well-versed in history. Ocasio-Cortez apparently forgetting about the civil rights movement and Vietnam War activism of the 1960s. Oh, and there's that conflict, World War II, the greatest generation that saved the world from authoritarian rule because of the sacrifice of teenagers. Here's Ocasio-Cortez.
This is great.
I think that they're badass. I think young people are more informed and dynamic than their predecessors. I think they're profoundly courageous because they're willing to puncture taboos and have conversations that, frankly, older generations sometimes struggle to have.
Hello, Brian.
Yeah, they took to the streets to celebrate victory against fascism and Nazism. Same thing. Took to the streets when they were actually trying to fight for our freedom. And they actually did take to the streets in the Depression to get food. So that was lining up in soup lines and bread lines. So it's unbelievable that the people at Boston University must be just cringing, holding their heads under the desk right now. She graduated and feels she's part of the greatest generation. Hey, our military's as good as it ever is. But right now as a society, there's a reason. If you watched the D-Day celebration and you saw who fought and what was at stake, you'd be embarrassed.
I can't believe you're dissing the millennials, Brian. I'm so offended right now.
Well, I think millennials should stand up and defend the greatest generation.
No, I completely agree. Look, there are a number of people in our generation who have done amazing things. The people who joined the military after 9/11, that was a defining moment of our generation. People in the tech industry, Mark Zuckerberg, who created Facebook. I know there's a lot of questions and problems with Facebook, but it changed the world. But this idea that we're going to say that we are better than the greatest generation that saved the world from authoritarianism, Nazism, communism, really is quite disrespectful and ironic, considering she's saying that previous generations don't know about American history when they're the ones who set it up so we have a free future.
I think that part of what has happened here is it's this AOC Instagram Live in and of itself is reflective of the self-absorbed culture that we currently live in. And I hate to diss millennials too, and I cling to my Gen X status.
Okay. Don't worry.
Present company excluded. But,
Thank you.
Honest to God, I mean, what I see here is a self-absorbed generation that thinks that because they tweet and because they march with funny hats, that somehow that they have some sort of moral superiority that is going to change the world. My grandfather, who served in World War II, would beg to differ.
The greatest generation stormed Normandy Beach so that she could Instagram Live in her kitchen.
That's right.
Thank
there you go.
Right?
With full face of makeup, I want to point out, and we left out all the kind of completely off the charts discussion about climate change, but
yeah, the one that she also does on Instagram.
Yeah, about the diseases
I
being
use
frozen in the
Instagram
ice
all the time too. So
Me too. Me too. I love
that
Instagram.
person that you were talking about. In terms of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, though, she was trying to, cheer on her supporters. And I don't really think that there's anything necessarily wrong with that. Being a millennial, though, I don't know if in 80 years, people were going to say that we're the greatest generation, There is something very special about talking to a World War II veteran, and it's sad that we're losing them.
My Uncle Gordon, who joined the Navy, lied about his age to go and fight for this country and the freedom of the world, quite frankly.
Right.
By the way, can I just ask this? Were we all so deeply narcissistic and nobody knew it and social media triggered it?
It's a really good question.
So we were all just sitting around preening in the mirror at home and nobody knew how self-involved we were?